before my diagnosis, probably like 2004 or 5 maybe. I was running races. You know, I did a half marathon. I was always a little bit behind everybody. I would jump into a warm lake in Michigan and I would come up from under the water and I would be coughing a lot, almost like having a coughing attack. And went to see a couple doctors. They thought I had asthma. So we were gonna play flag football, like in the social Chicago teams. And I thought, you know what, let me just go make sure before I start any new thing that I'm on the right inhalers, for example. And I went to see this asthma doctor in Chicago, and I explained my symptoms, and he just said, those don't sound right. Something's off.
She has this rare lung disease called LAM. This disease involves the replacement of a person's lungs by multiple cysts. Cysts are sort of empty spaces that are filled with just air and replace the normal lung tissue. It's a rare disease that's poorly understood.
So we were just in shock, like total, complete shock. Like, how is this even happening to us, right?
So I first met Meghan about 7 years ago. It was shortly after Loyola became recognized as one of the sites by the LAM Foundation to set up a LAM clinic. I was truly amazed by what she had gone through, by the journey of her illness, even before meeting her.
My symptoms were pretty steady, and then one day I just couldn't really walk across the parking lot. One of the symptoms of LAM is you can get a fluid buildup in your chest cavity, and that's what happened to me. And as that fluid built up, my lungs weren't functioning very well.
And she needed to have chest tubes placed in her chest cavity between her ribs in order to be able to drain that fluid out.
There was a drug trial that was going on, and I was fortunate enough to get on one of the trials, even though I had this complication. And with that, the fluid went away, and that's been a blessing ever since.
The chyle production, the fluid production, stopped pretty rapidly after she started on this drug. So she was one of the first people to really be a part of the story of understanding that problem.
I think just knowing, first of all, that there was momentum behind supporting this disease, and again, having a clinic in your backyard, right, not that far from Loyola, is really comforting.
And over these years, she has remained mostly stable. She uses oxygen for heavy exertion, like exercise, but she doesn't let her disease slow her down.
We own a cottage, and we get there almost every weekend, and I'm out in the yard all the time doing my gardening. So I feel like I'm very, very active, and I want to keep being active, but safely. That's what I have to make sure I'm doing, safely doing it.
I feel like my LAM population is a special group for me. Not only are they young with a rare lung disease that needs help, but they tend to be people in the prime of life, and I get to watch them go through that life. And I know that we're going to be together for a very long time, whether that means caring for a stable lung disease for many years, or whether that means helping them if they do become worse through the process of lung transplantation and beyond.
Dr. Dilling's amazing. He's very popular in my family, I should say that. Since day one, been so accessible, so helpful. Knowing that I have that support community within Loyola is huge.